Hello, good morning. I am Kelly Hearn, and today we are talking all about leading to achieve results. That's what we all want, right? As leaders, we want to be able to influence and lead in a way that achieves results. Well, you are in luck because, again, I am Kelly Hearn, and you are on the channel for Transitional Leadership, where we help individuals and businesses implement leadership and career skill development to foster a greater impact. And that impact often is achieving amazing results. And in the blog this week, I break down how you cannot manage to achieve results. It's just not possible. And I go into all of the details around how that is and why it isn't possible to manage that way, how you will really only get people to the bare minimum. And then I give you the leadership principles that you need to lead to in order to achieve results through your team. So if you want the how, definitely jump over, click the link, read the blog, and get all of that juicy goodness. Here in the video today, I want to be able to support that through a story. I want to tell you a story about some leaders that I worked with years ago. We're talking pre-pandemic, pre everybody working from home. And the company was looking at the possibility of having people work remotely on a potentially part-time basis. Now, to give just a little bit of background, this was a very successful company that just held really traditional roots. There was no reason, no quantifiable reason why people couldn't work remotely. It just was a complete shift in the culture and the expectations of leadership and how you manage people to be able to do that. And so there was one leader within the organization. We'll call her Karen. If you watch the videos, we are not necessarily talking about the Karen of the Instagram and the shorts. We are talking about a really well meaning Karen who just didn't have that forward thinking vision of what working remotely would do for employees and their ability to get work done, their work life balance, all of those really important things. And so, what she did, as everybody sat down around the table to kind of sketch out what it would look like to work remotely and have employees of all varying skill levels and job functions work remotely. And she basically worked the problem backward, which, if you have a very quantifiable result, there's nothing wrong with that. Her idea wasn't bad. So she took what needed to be accomplished in a day or in a week or in a month for each of these varying job descriptions, job roles, all of those things. And she did the math backwards. So if we have to talk to 100 customers in a week, that means we need to talk to 20 customers in a day. And that meant that the quota for that day for this particular job role was going to be 20 calls. Okay. She did all the math backwards. What is the expectation? What is the meets expectation for a month's worth of work? And then let's divide that out. And then that is how we will measure people when they aren't in the office. If we can't see them doing work, we can know that they're doing work because they've hit this amount. And then we'll tell them every week whether or not they hit that amount. Sounds simple enough, right? There was another leader within the room. We'll call her Molly. Again, if you watch the videos, if you watch the shorts, it's not this ethereal, perfect leadership vision of Molly, but Molly, in this circumstance, walked Karen through what it would mean for people to be able to work remotely, how they might be able to split their 30-minute commute into 15 minutes extra with their families, or sipping their coffee quietly, or getting some time to themselves. And the other 15 minutes, maybe they could log in a little bit earlier. Maybe they could do that kind of coffee chat with their coworkers and friends before their clock in time actually happened. Maybe because they wouldn't have to take all of the time getting ready in the morning or wearing professional style clothes every day. Maybe they would feel more comfortable and competent because they're not worried about whether or not their shirt matches anybody else on the floor. So she painted this picture. She gave this vision of what it would look like for people to work remotely and what it would mean for them, both how it could help them in their personal lives and what it would look like in their professional lives and how it could advance the ball that way. She said, yes, it's going to be important that we have metrics around this. But the biggest thing that we need to do first is explain to people why we're doing this, why we want them to have this flexibility, why we want them to understand where we're going and what we want to achieve as an organization and what we want them to achieve for themselves. Okay, so she was super clear on both sides of it. And then she said there also needs to be some sort of parameters around this. We need to be able to show people that we're going to hold them accountable to the expectations that we have. Not just that you made your 20 calls in a day, but that you delivered the same level of experience to each one of those customers that you talked to. We need to have expectations and accountability that shows that you're still developing and growing as an employee, even when you're not hearing all the other conversations that are happening on the floor. Even when you don't have your mentor sitting next to you to say, hey, Susie, did that sound right? Was that good enough? Is there a different way that you would have handled it? Oh, that customer was tough. I need your help. What would you have done in this situation? How are they going to get that? There needed to be different ideas of what that would look like to be accountable to not only the day to day, but also to this big picture of their career development. Right. So then Molly also brought in the idea of empowerment. Look, we trust you to work in this remote organization. We trust you to get done what needs to get done and hit the marks that you need to hit on all of these different facets of your career, your job function, the culture of the organization. But with this shift, with this trust, comes some empowerment on your end. It's no longer my job as the supervisor and the manager of this team to micromanage everything you're doing. I trust you to achieve and to accomplish on your own. And then finally, she recognized that there were going to be bumps along the way, right? This wasn't going to be something that was just smooth sailing and that we could work through in this really succinct, clear manner. There were going to be issues where it was rocky. There were going to be missteps and stumbles and skinned knees in all sorts of different senses. And that we would have to develop the resiliency to work through that together. Now, she covered every leadership principle that needs to be focused on and connected to in order to achieve results within this team. So much more so than Karen did by setting up a way to hit the minimum expectation for every team member. Is it more complex? Yup. Will it take more time? Mhm. Is it more difficult to be able to empower people, provide that resiliency, give them accountability, create that vision, and be decisive around the actions that you're going to take? Oh, yeah. But is it worth it to give the people this ability to take back control over their life, their career? Is it worth it to take that management level off of yourself so that you are the leader who can support this beautiful vision that maybe you don't even quite see the depth of yet? Absolutely. And so, if those are the type of results that you want to achieve as a leader, then again, I would encourage you to go back and read that blog because you're not going to get there by making sure that everybody hits the minimum expectation, to make sure that everyone recognizes their KPIs and hits those marks every single day or every single week. That will not get you to the level of results that you're after. You have to lead through leadership principles and you have to rely on your depth and breadth as a leader to be able to get there. Now, if you're feeling like Man, I am not there yet. I have a totally free way for you to take your first steps into that realm. And that is through the Uncertain to Unstoppable workbook. If you are a new leader or if you are an established leader, but this sounds like a totally different way to lead, then I want you to click the link that'll take you from uncertain to unstoppable so that you can achieve this level of results in your leadership. All right. I hope that that was helpful. I hope that the examples kind of lend color to the principles and the ideas that we're putting forth in the blog. I would so encourage you that if this was helpful, share it, like it, leave a comment. And on that comment note, if there are questions, if you're not sure about how one of the principles fits in or how your specific situation would apply here, definitely leave it in the comments below. I check every single one and will absolutely help you through navigating that process. All right. Have a wonderful day, and I cannot wait to see what results you achieve.